Parko, what brings you to us today, sir?
I got a lot of thoughts. I got a lot more bad predictions.
Oh, no.
Not predictions. Here we go.
No, listen. Hey, honestly, not even really predictions. Marshall, hello. Grote, hello. Nice
What
to
up?
talk to you guys again.
Parko.
Thank you for making time. But, I've watched a few Cubs games of late. And the Blue Jays and the Cardinals, and I've seen some sputtering offense, and then I've been more engaged with the online discourse, which has made me kind of tune in to the radio station discourse. And I got a bone to pick with fans and media, if you don't mind.
Absolutely.
May I pick your bone?
The floor is yours.
Okay. Does Jed Hoyer hit right-handed or left-handed? Like, have I missed Jed Hoyer not hitting the ball in a big spot? Because when I'm watching and when I see the numbers, it's Kyle Tucker. It's Pete Crow-Armstrong. It's the offense. They were slumping in July. They're slumping in August. They're slumping. Like, they're sixth in baseball in home runs. Kyle Tucker has 1 home run in the last 33 games. Was Bryce Harper traded at the deadline and I missed it? Like, it was universally regarded as a dud of a deadline because sellers were being delusional and holding on to pieces and asking a king's ransom for the good players. So very few good players were traded. And I heard a lot of, get me Mackenzie Gore, get me Alcantara, get me Justin Verlander, none of whom were traded and none of whom hit. The Cubs need to hit. Period. It's very frustrating what the Brewers are doing, and they're making this worse. But the Cubs were 14-10 in July. They're 4-6 since the deadline. That means they're 18-16 since July 1st. Like, they're not the worst team in baseball. They're not getting any wins. They are slumping. Their best players are not hitting. That is not on the manager or the general manager. But fans like to go at the GM or the manager because they don't buy their jersey.
You can't take responsibility away from those guys, though, Parkins.
What was Jed Hoyer supposed to do for this offense?
Hold on, because you mentioned Craig, too. And this is something that irritates me all the time. When the take comes out, like you're giving, when it comes to Craig Counsell, like he can't be the one that goes out there and hits. He can't be the one that goes out there and helps Dansby Swanson on a pivot from second base on a double play. Then what does the manager do? What are we giving the manager credit for when he does well?
Danny.
The manager is supposed to do things to change the lineup, sit guys out. He does bear responsibility, and so does Jed Hoyer bear responsibility because he put the team together.
Danny,
why couldn't the Cubs be the creative team?
Listen.
Why couldn't they have been the team that got Mackenzie
I understand
Gore?
what you're saying especially about the pitching, but I always said because they didn't get the guy who was the top of the rotation ace, and they didn't get better relief pitching because there was better relief pitching to be had, by the way, that put more pressure on the hitters who were already, as you just mentioned, slumping. My issue is this team was built with the belief that, hey, we're going to do it around the margins because we're a small market team and this is how we're going to operate, except we're going to get Kyle Tucker for 1 year and now we're not going to take advantage of the 1 year we have Kyle Tucker. That's how I see this, is they're not taking advantage of the fact that they have Kyle Tucker.
If you could fire Jed Hoyer and hire a general manager who would get Tom Ricketts to spend like Steve Cohen, I would pack Jed's bags and put the for sale sign in the lawn in Winnetka. But that's not how it works.
No, I get that.
So if you want to say they should spend more money and just throw more money at the problem, I'm never going to say no to that. Of course, I'm a fan. I want them to spend all of the billions of dollars on Wrigley's packed and all of that. Obviously, I'm with you on all of that. And what Carter said about the 2032 team being as important as the 2025 team, that quote to Jesse Rogers, obviously that's dumb. And obviously he would want that one back. Like that's obviously a dumb thing to say. Even if there's a modicum of truth into it for how a GM is supposed to look at a team, you shouldn't say it publicly. It's just bad PR. It's bad business, especially in the midst of a scuffling team. But is Kyle Tucker not supposed to play?
So I think Kyle Tucker, if he's hurt, he needs to sit down and they need to get him right. Here's why. Because
is he hurt?
There's reports out there that he's had a finger injury since he jammed his finger in the base, and there may be something else wrong with him that we don't know.
And real quick, when he was asked about it, he was as ambiguous as one could possibly be about it.
No doubt.
And so coming off the Dansby Swanson situation, I don't know if you remember this, but Dansby Swanson basically was like, I was hurt all of the year and decided not to do anything about it, but now I'm going to have surgery in the offseason. It was like, bro, if you had told us that last season, maybe we could have, helped you before wasting a whole season of less than top tier Dansby Swanson.
You don't think the Cubs knew that Dansby Swanson was hurt, or the fans?
No. I think both. I think the Cubs didn't know to the degree which Dansby Swanson, who wants to play 162 every year, even though now he's on the other side of 30. That's the problem there. Is there's got to be a real talk between front office and player and making sure that everybody's on the same page. I don't think they were on the same page.
If players are withholding medical data and medical information from teams and disguising it in that way, then that's obviously a huge story. I do not know that to be the case. Guys are going to want to play, and if the belief is that Kyle Tucker is too hurt to play and they're just playing him because why? Like Counsell pinch hit PCA the other night and people went insane.
I did not go insane. I said that makes sense.
But now the belief is that they won't sit Kyle Tucker if he's hurt. Like, they've proven that they'll sit a star player, they'll pinch hit a star player, or they'll take a guy out of the end. Like, my point, Grote, is when is it on the player?
I mean, I think the majority, and maybe you're not seeing it this way. I do feel like the majority of.
You think the majority of the ire is at Kyle Tucker and Pete Crow-Armstrong?
Well, I think
Jed Hoyer?
I think like when you're watching these games and you have the third inning and the seventh inning last night where the Cubs had 2 on and nobody out and didn't strike. Well, they got 1 run from the Michael Busch single, but that was it. That's what Cubs are angry about. That's what the pain is on the moment now. I get what you're coming from since the trade deadline. People have been mad that Jed Hoyer didn't strike, that in this sacred season he didn't go after it. But I think, unfortunately, Danny, Cubs fans are used to feeling the pain of an offense not working, especially in high leverage like 2023. But in September when they had a 94% chance to go into the playoffs and they weren't hitting, and that ended up being the problem.
Danny, it's this.
Wait a minute, no doubt. No doubt. Sorry, Marshall. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, it's this simple to me. Jed Hoyer told you how he was operating in terms of needing people to outperform, right? Even after they went and got Kyle Tucker, they depended on guys like Carson Kelly to outperform. Who was in the cleanup spot last night? Carson Kelly. He's not good enough to be a cleanup hitter on a playoff team, but that's where they have him because they want people to outperform. Everyone that is outperformed, and that includes PCA, by the way, who has taken a jump but has come back to earth. They expect him to just maintain the outperformance to get him into the playoffs, and now we'll see what happens. My thing is build a team where you're not expecting everyone to outperform, and that includes third base, by the way, as well. And because you understand that's the general principle, watching it play out in real time is like, what did you really think was going to happen without the booster at the trade deadline?
But do you think Jed Hoyer is just choosing not to spend money?
No, this is on the top. This comes from the top. This is ownership and how much money they're willing to spend at the end of the day. I agree with you on that.
Okay, well, so then, but at some point, the level of anger, if the whole point is man, the Cubs should just be spending more money, even though we haven't seen the books and we don't exactly know, and right, it's all weird across baseball about money made, money saved, whatever. If the whole point is the Cubs should just spend more money, fine, I'm with you guys. I'm completely in agreement with you. But they can't right now. They could have in the Bryce Harper offseason. They could have in the Manny Machado offseason. They could right now. The guys that they have, that by the way everybody likes, right? Everybody likes Pete Crow-Armstrong. Everyone agrees, right? He should play.
Yes.
Everyone likes Pete Crow-Armstrong.
Yeah,
I have no problem with Pete Crow-Armstrong sitting down for a couple of days. I have no problem with that.
Everyone wants Kyle Tucker to be signed this offseason, I assume. Still?
No.
Yes?
There's another Kyle I'd rather see in a Cubs lineup. There's another Kyle I'd rather pay the money to.
Schwarber?
Yep.
What?
Listen. Okay. Listen.
Less
Schwarber,
money.
Grote maybe remember. It's the angriest I've ever been at the Cubs on air on the score was when they non-tendered Schwarber. Yeah. I lost my mind on the air. Talked to people in the front office about it after the rant. It was a thing. I obviously love Kyle Schwarber, but Kyle Tucker's the lefty with slug who's here now.
Yes,
I assume Cubs fans do not want him to be gone after this year. despite a 35-game slump.
No, I think for me, it's just the realization that Schwarber would be cheaper and understanding an organization has never given out a $200 million contract, let alone a $300 or $400 or $500 million contract. Now, they may get that Cody Bellinger lucky bump because this guy is not healthy or whatever's going on with him. But
no, you want him to be good. You want him to be good and be heading into a contract year where he can get $1 gazillion.
Yes, because that means if you give him the $1 gazillion, you're going to get the production for the rest of his career.
Right, and because that means that he would be producing in games that matter for the Cubs this year. I think that way too often, like if every conversation is a macro one, then fine, I'm with you. Just talk about the owner and spending money. But sometimes, like, the games happen and we react to the games, right? Like, that's like a huge part of what we do. And if your best players who you like, who have gotten you to, at the point of the trade deadline, have the second best record in baseball and a top 10 offense in baseball, if they're not hitting, at some point it's on the players. You guys can tell me when it is.
No, I mean,
here's the players right now.
Here's what I'll say, Danny, and then I got a couple things here for you here in a second. The only thing that I take offense to is the way you presented in the beginning, that the whole argument of, what the hell is the GM supposed to do? What the hell is really with the manager is what I'm talking about. There's always something a well-paid manager can do to make his team better, to put his position in a better position to win. So I think I took offense to that more than anything.
Was he doing it? I'm just curious. Was he doing everything that he could do the first 80 games of the year?
I mean, and I gave him a lot of praise for it. Like, even like with benching certain guys, putting Dansby Swanson down in the lineup, moving
Maybe the
PCA
manager's
up
slumping
in the lineup. It's possible.